Russians don't want me to be president, and Trump doesn't want me to be the nominee. There's certain things that are come across very, very clearly.
But President Trump says Russian interference is a hoax.
He's an idiot in terms of saying that. Everybody knows this.
Wow. A new interview. Joe Biden went after President Trump over the Russian probe. Meanwhile, former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon is the executive producer of the new docudrama Claws of the Red Dragon, and now has a new radio show that focuses on impeachment, and it's growing rapidly. Steve Bannon, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Your reaction to his 60-minute interview last night?
Look, this is the same thing the Democrats have been doing since President Trump won in November of 2016. It's a nullification project, trying to delegitimize him and nullify his presidency. The Russia thing's a hoax. It was proven in the Mueller investigation. No collusion, no Russian involvement. Even Clapper said, I think it was 100,000 Facebook ads. This thing's a non-event. This is just the Democrats over and over again trying to nullify the 2016 election.
Do you have a problem with his son serving on the Burisma board, or you think that's a rabbit hole?
No, I think it's corruption. I think worse is China. Look, they took over $1 billion from China. I think Joe Biden is totally compromised by China. I think people understand it. I think that on the Ukraine situation is the same thing. I think his reason last night was terrible. Oh, I had nothing to do with it. He was already on the board. The son got in the Navy with no expertise because of Joe Biden. He got on the board because of connections to Joe Biden. His whole career is around having access to Joe Biden, political corruption.
Let's move on. Adam Schiff yesterday was talking about where he's going with impeachment. He's talking about looking at Mulvaney, looking at Pompeo, maybe even bringing in Rudy Giuliani. Here he is on investigating the investigators. Instead of looking at what they're looking at, he says it's a plot and a plan.
That Bill Barr, on the president's behalf, is weaponizing the Justice Department to go after the president's enemies. You don't seek to just prosecute the losing side, but this is what Bill Barr is seeking to do. He is demonstrating once again that he is merely a tool of the president's hand, not the representative of the American people.
You buying that?
Listen, they love the Justice Department when it's going after President Trump's people. This is a U.S. attorney up in Connecticut that's doing an investigation. Now it's in a criminal process. I think guys like Brennan and Clapper ought to lawyer up, because right now you've got a U.S. attorney, totally even-handed, that's going to go investigate this thing. And this is something, they had subpoenas issued by the House Intelligence Committee back in 2017, 2018 to get this information. Now we're going to see it. And this is Schiff just trying to, this is a smokescreen from Adam Schiff. Let the Justice Department and let the U.S. attorney go after this information. A criminal investigation.
You hopped on with the president. You helped him win the presidency at a time in which everyone thought he was ready to go into a ditch.
I'm his top student, as he says. I'm his #1 student, proud to be his #1 student.
You got a Wall Street background as well as a military background as well as a lifetime of experience. You set up this impeachment thing not to get ratings to grow stations because you want to stay ahead of the curve. So right now, this week, Pompeo, Rudy, and Mulvaney are on deck perhaps to go and talk in front of this committee. What does that mean? Will they do it?
Well, listen, this I think you saw with Kupperman. They're going to start asking, and I don't understand why, they put out, Scipione, Pat put out this letter a couple weeks ago to say no more information and no more people going forward. I don't know why that hasn't been enforced. I think it will start to be enforced this week. This situation right now is about precedent, it's about policy, and it's about process. You had David Rifkin in the Wall Street Journal and Elizabeth Price Foley had a great article that said until they have a full vote of the House, this is a completely illegitimate constitutional process. And I think this thing ought to be fought. I think it ought to be fought all the way up to the Supreme Court. And what you're seeing is this just a policy difference. The unelected people that were in there, the State Department and Defense Department people, have a difference in philosophy, just like they have in Syria in Iraq to the Trump presidency. This is a difference in policy. This is the kind of normal course of business, I think, of things that happen every day. And I think as you get more information, as this process becomes more visible, you're going to see that this is much ado about nothing. This is Schiff and a radical group of Democrats that are throwing the country into a constitutional crisis over the Christmas holidays. We're hurtling towards a constitutional crisis. That's the reason I set up this War Room Impeachment, which is a podcast and a website, just to get all this information out there so the president's friends and allies in the grassroots can see what a farce this is.
Do you think the president has responded in an organized, effective way to push back on the narrative Democrats are pushing?
Look, the president, you saw yesterday, the president's got a day job. It's being commander-in-chief and president of the United States. You know, he's negotiating with the Chinese. He's looking what to do in Syria and the Middle East, defending Saudi Arabia. He's going after, al-Baghdadi and ISIS to destroy the physical caliphate. He's busy doing his job as president of the United States. I think the White House has probably a different strategy this week. I think the campaign, they both have terrific people. You have outside groups like ourselves who are volunteers, who are people that supported the president, that are now going to get on point. I got to tell you, every witness, we're going to review every witness's background. We're going to contest all the information we're seeing. We're just going to sit there and fight these selective leaks that have come out. Nancy Pelosi is running political warfare. This is a sophisticated political disinformation campaign, and it needs to be combated by somebody. I think the outside groups are probably the best to do this. We're going to be there to defend the president, his presidency, and his actions.
All right. Steve Bannon still working hard behind the scenes for the cause in which he supported and strategized. Okay?
Top student.
Top student. Okay. Steve Bannon, thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck with the podcast.
Okay,
Watch for it to grow.